JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, alleged Don shot dead in St. Catherine, residents on edge. Residents of Cecil Garden in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, are now on edge following the killing of a man in the community who is said to be a Don for the Walks Road area. The man, who the St. Catherine North Police are yet to officially identify, was shot and killed about 10:30 p.m. Monday. Residents say they heard loud explosions, and after the shooting subsided, the body of the deceased was seen lying on its back with gunshot wounds to the head. The police were summoned and the scene was processed. The police say the deceased is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 173 centimeters tall. He was clad in a white t-shirt, jeans pants, and a pair of black and white sneakers. During a visit to the area, residents were tight-lipped. However, one resident quietly mentioned that the deceased was a Don of Walks Road and there are no growing fears that there will be reprisals. How will it a problem now? The place I go get at now because them go kill the Don for Walks Road, the resident whispered. Shotgun among guns seized during police operations in St. Andrew. A team of officers assigned to the St. Andrew South Police Division seized 2 illegal guns, including a 12-gauge shotgun, in 2 separate police operations on Monday. The lawmen were conducting an operation on Blackseat Drive in Seaview Gardens, Kingston 11, about 2:30 p.m. when an abandoned building was searched. During the search, one Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun was seen inside the building. During the second operation on Walton Park Avenue, about 5:10 p.m., a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 1 round of ammunition was also seized. No one was arrested in relation to these seizures. Investigations continue. Electrician killed in St. Catherine collision. An electrician is dead as a result of injuries he sustained in a motor vehicle collision in Point Hill, St. Catherine on Sunday. Dead is 66-year-old Leon Green of Old Rex District in Watermount, St. Catherine. Reports from the Point Hill police are that about 4:50 p.m., the driver of a motor car, in which Green was a passenger, was traveling along the Watermount main road in the parish. Upon reaching a section of the roadway, the driver allegedly swerved to avoid a pothole and collided into a motor truck which was traveling in the opposite direction. The police were alerted on their arrival. They assisted the injured to hospital, where Green was pronounced dead and the others treated and released. Westmoreland police renew appeal for assistance in identifying decomposing body. The Westmoreland police are renewing their appeal to locate relatives of a female whose decomposing body was found in Chantilly district in the parish on Thursday, June 1. According to reports, the body is about 168 centimeters or 5 feet 6 inches tall, was clad in a blue blouse, black and red hooded jacket, and blue jeans shorts. It has several tattoos, including 3 stars on the right side of the face, footprints on the chest, and Alicia on the right shoulder. Reports from the Salvamore police are that residents stumbled upon the body and summoned them. On arrival of the lawmen, the body was seen lying face down in a drain. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue pending a post-mortem. Meanwhile, detectives are asking anyone who may be able to identify the body to contact the Salvamore Police Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-955-2758, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Man of unsound mind reportedly shot by police. A St. Catherine man who is said to be of unsound mind has been hospitalized after he was reportedly shot and injured by a police party outside Linstead on Monday afternoon. According to reports, at about noon, the cops approached the man who was armed with a machete at a location called Ochi Bus Stop. He was ordered to drop the weapon, but he disobeyed and challenged the police, who shot him in the leg and arm. He was taken to the Linstead Hospital, where he was admitted. The Independent Commission of Investigations and the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau have launched a probe into the incident. Chuck says serial rapist Davion Bryan should have been given life sentence. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has expressed disappointment over what he says is the inadequate sentence imposed on convicted serial rapist Davion Bryan. Bryan was sentenced to a term of imprisonment of 23 years when he appeared in the St. Thomas Parish Court last Wednesday. The judge also ruled that he should serve 16 years before being eligible for parole. He had earlier pleaded guilty to 12 counts of rape, grievous sexual assault, and forcible abduction. Chuck contends that a sentence of life imprisonment may be more appropriate, as Brown demonstrated by his own admission that he's a sexual predator. He also reiterated the need, in all cases including where the offenders have pleaded guilty, to consult with victims or their families on a suitable sentence. The public must note that the Criminal Justice Administration Act and the Plea Negotiation and Agreements Act provide and allow for this kind of consultation. This is an important aspect of the sentencing process, to allow victims or their families to have their concerns taken into account, amid a release from Chuck's ministry stated. But President of the Advocates Association of Jamaica, Attorney at Law Leonard Green, said while the minister's view may have been personal, it would have served him better as a justice minister to withhold his view. I think members of the public are at liberty to hold whatever view that they want to hold, but certainly in his capacity as minister, it can be seen to be inappropriate in circumstances where the judges would have exercised their discretion and imposed a sentence that they would have deemed appropriate, Green said. Additionally, he said the judge would have taken the guilty plea into account. I'm a little concerned that Mr. Chuck would have expressed his personal opinion in that way, in light of the fact that the judge would have heard all the evidence and all the submissions, he noted. Furthermore, Green said it must be noted that Chuck's comment can have the effect of undermining the judiciary. Triple murder brings chills back to Clarendon residents. A gruesome triple murder in the Grantham area of Clarendon on Friday night brought a chilling sense of deja vu to residents in the Central Parish, having been rocked by the gut-wrenching cockapese quintuple murder that saw the brutal execution-style killing of a mother and her 4 children in June last year, and the vicious September 2021 quadruple murder that wiped out relatives of one family in Havana Heights. Stakeholders have expressed shock and horror over the latest incident, which has disrupted what they say is a usually quiet community. In the latest mass murder, 42-year-old Kevin Anderson, also known as Tyler, a truck operator of Peckham District, Cecil Ricketts, also known as Parsh, a shopkeeper of Grantham District, and the 56-year-old farmer Delroy Facey, also known as Kengdon, of Belmont District, Clarendon, were gunned down at a community shop operated by Ricketts. Reports are that, about 9:30 p.m., the men were at Ricketts' shop when men with guns alighted from a motor car and fired several shots. The police were summoned, and on arrival, all 3 men were found with multiple gunshot wounds all over their bodies. Facey was seen beside the shop on the zinc fence, Anderson behind the counter, and Ricketts in a sitting position on Anderson's back. The scene was processed, and they were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. Video scene shows a blooded entrance to the shop, further revealing a blood-soaked body slumped over another. It is understood that one of the deceased had an undetermined sum of money on his person at the time of the shooting. That money and his cell phone were reportedly missing from the scene. Police sources are theorizing that the attack was a reprisal, stemming from a February 2022 murder of a farmer who was gunned down in the vicinity. The sources say the farmer had a dispute with a relative of one of the triple murder victims, and that the relative had been named as a person of interest in his killing. Stakeholders bemoaned Friday night's incident as most unfortunate, adding that residents have been on tenterhooks since the killings. Philip Enriquez, Member of Parliament for Clarendon Northwestern, said the incident has brought shock, horror, and disbelief to the area. The Grantham area is normally a very quiet area, nothing of this extent, so it's quite shocking, very hard to deal with. It's too much. This is too far. The whole community is in shock right now. It is definitely out of character and very unusual for this part of the countryside to have a situation like this, said Enriquez on Saturday. He also implored citizens to steer away from crime, urging more violence doesn't solve killings. In addition, Enriquez has made an appeal to residents to assist the police with their investigations. My advice is to speak to the law enforcement as much as possible, cooperate, and do whatever they can information-wise, because something like this needs to be dealt with, and dealt with swiftly. We have to solve the situation. It is not good, not normal, and there's obviously more to it that we'll find out hopefully through the investigation, Enriquez said. Similar sentiments were expressed by head of the Clarendon Police, Superintendent Carlos Russell, who made a similar appeal for residents to share what they know with the police. Anyone with information that could aid the investigation is being asked to contact the Frankfield Police at 876-904-4507, Crime Stopper 311, or Police Emergency Number 119. Chinese business operators targeted by extortionists in St. Catherine, says Robotham. Dennis Robotham, president of the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, says Chinese business operators continue to be the main target of extortionists in the parish. Robotham, speaking in an interview on Tuesday, said most Chinese business owners do not report incidents of extortion because they are fearful for their lives. He also said some business operators do not trust the police because there is a perception that they are road cops with connections to criminal gangs. So it means that the JCF has got to do a lot of introspection and do a lot of work to bring the confidence back to the businesses, that people feel confident to come forward, Mr. Robotham asserted. He also said there is heightened fear in the business community since last weekend's killing of 47-year-old pharmacy operator Delson White in St. Catherine. Mr. White's killing is believed to be linked to extortion. According to Robotham, economic activities are negatively affected whenever a business operator is killed, since this leads to businesses being closed and workers losing their jobs. The customer service is important there. They have to find somewhere else that is probably out of the area, that sort of thing. There are so many areas that are impacted when something like this happens, he lamented. Robotham urged the government to find alternatives to a state of public emergency in the quest to reduce crime. He called for a comprehensive crime plan, asserting that the state of emergency is no longer effective in fighting crime in St. Catherine. New York, other places that have had problems with bigger societies and numbers in terms of population, seem to be able to have curbed their problems. We can't look for best practices and try to tolerate or get help. It's becoming almost like a hopelessness that is overhanging in the business community, he said, suggesting this hopelessness has led some business operators to reconsider their investment in the parish. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and help with the growth of JBN.